Hello guys, this is Daytrix Gaming as always. Welcome back to a new series. Today we're going to be, this is basically my new podcast with my friend.
The Ori. Yes, that is me.
He is one of my friends in real life. And we just decided to start a podcast where we talk about whatever the hell we want to because it's our goddamn podcast. On here, we'll talk about politics, current events, technology, social interaction, a wide variety of topics. Our first topic, I think, will be, you know what? Tyler, have you freaking played any new games lately?
No.
Way to be dynamic.
You think I have zero monies to spend on games?
As do I. I just am playing games that I bought back in the Steam Summer Sale. Oh, God, I love the Steam Summer Sale. I saved, like, freaking...
It's so beautiful.
I think total cost would have ended up being around, for, like, the 9 or so games I bought, the total cost would have ended up being something around, I think it was, like, $200? Around $200-ish. I spent $60. I just love the freaking Steam Summer Sale.
I'm excited.
Summer Sale.
I'm excited for next year. I'm definitely will buy games.
Dude, are you looking forward to the Christmas sale?
Oh yeah.
The Christmas sale is gonna be awesome.
Any sale is good for me.
Oh, you need to buy Payday 2. It's on sale right now for $7.
It's a good price. Very good price.
Honestly, if I didn't already own it, I would buy it.
How much did you get it for?
I got it for $5.
Oh well.
That was the summer sale, though, so it was 75% off rather than 66% off. Okay, favorite game, Tyler. What's your favorite game?
Well, right now, my favorite game is probably Minecraft because I have literally played almost zero other games on the PC. And all the other games I've played on the Xbox or PlayStation are just crap.
Yeah, honestly, my favorite game right now probably have to be probably The Forest. Honestly, I really enjoy The Forest. Actually, no, I don't know. It's either PlanetSide 2 or The Forest. Those are both just really, really good games. PlanetSide 2 is a lot better than Call of Duty because I don't know, just something about the feeling of it. Rather than basically you're actually on a team with somebody, but you really don't have any higher connection to them. You're all just kind of running around as separate entities, fighting another group doing the exact same thing. In PlanetSide 2, you're actually, I don't know, you just feel like you're part of something. You're part of an attack force. You're part of a squad clearing a building. Also, PlanetSide 2 features a lot more players per match. Like, freaking, I think the highest I've gotten onto a server, it was like somewhere around 2,000 players. It's a few. Also, map size is like freaking way bigger. That's just a really, and it's also, it has really smooth controls for I don't know why, but just kind of going from console gaming to PC gaming for first-person shooters, I just kind of expected the mouse and keyboard combination for controls. I just expected it to not be as smooth, yet surprisingly, it is just as smooth, if not more. What have you had any? I don't know. Comparison between controls between PC and consoles?
Not really, actually. But The Forest looks really good. I am really excited to play it once I get it. It looks really fun.
I bought it back in the Steam Summer Sale, and my God, I'm glad I did. And thank you guys for the support that you guys have shown for that series. I really I really enjoyed recording that. It's a fun game to play. Yeah, The Forest, I highly recommend it. It looks amazing. And also us talking about console controls versus PC controls is kind of a segue to our next topic, which we'll get to in just a minute, but sorry. Okay, Tyler. Top 5 games then.
My top 5 games personally.
Your personal top 5 games.
That is a good question. My number 1 game would probably be Minecraft, I guess. I really do not have very much experience, but I'm going to get more into gaming now that I have a Steam account. But I actually have been playing, this may sound childish, but Lego games a little bit lately.
Very nice, very nice. Dude, those are fun.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. I don't care.
Yeah, if they're fun, dude, go for it.
Yeah, I will. So that's probably number 2, I guess. Number 3, probably just the Call of Duty series, because it's pretty good. But
the Call of Duty series, it's
not.
It's fun to play, but at the same time, it's become too big of a game.
Like, if you try and start out on YouTube with a Call of Duty series, you're not gonna
go anywhere. Like,
no,
that was kind of my first few videos, but I'm sorry guys, but I'm done with that. Unless you're like a professional and you're just like really heavy into editing and you're just doing YouTube montages, you're not gonna get anywhere doing those. Also, unless you're playing with your friends on Call of Duty, you're not going to have a very high level of player-to-player interaction, which I feel adds a lot to it kind of adds a strategy to the game rather than just run around and kill people before they kill you kind of feel. Call of Duty for me, unless I'm with friends, I don't know. I just don't find as much enjoyment in it because there's no strategy. There's no tactics. You're just running around mindlessly shooting people. You don't have to think about it. You just have to have fast reflexes and you'll do good.
Yeah, and that's how I feel kind of everyone has got to these days with Call of Duty. They just go around and shoot whatever the heck they can. They don't even...
There's multiple games out there that are definitely, as far as that regard, are a lot better alternatives, such as I think a game, it was featured in E3. It was featured in E3. I think it was called Rainbow Six. I don't remember the name of it after Rainbow Six, but it was Rainbow Six, and just from the demo, it's pretty much like a 5-on-5 style game which I mean, it wouldn't always be this way, but in close-knit groups. And the feature that they were playing of the trailer, it was a group that they were very heavily using mics and talking to each other and communicating tactics, using their strategies, entering through they were doing a hostage rescue, and the opposing team was trying to keep the hostage without dying or getting the hostage rescued. And they basically were entering, they had 2 people enter from the ceiling and 2 people enter from the windows, and then one of them came in through the garage, and I found it really, really cool to be able to do that higher level of team interaction with tactics and strategies.
Yeah, that does sound much better, gaming experience than just Call of Duty. Shoot whatever the crap you want.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. Call of Duty is an extremely, extremely successful franchise, so we can't really bash on them too much as far as their business tactics go, because obviously they've been extremely successful. Also, are you planning on getting Call of Duty Advanced Warfare?
I probably will get it. I most likely won't be a heavy player, though. I'll maybe beat the campaign once and do some multiplayer, but I'm not going to obsess over it and do a lot with that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I am definitely going to get... I'm definitely going to get the game later, a little while after it comes out. But I'm not going to get, crazy, like 300 hours into the game. I'll probably just beat the campaign like maybe once or twice, then do some multiplayer, but never get real into the game because, I mean, like we were just saying, the Call of Duty franchise it's fun, but it doesn't have the extended playability that games that integrate tactics and strategy and and high levels of team interaction. It just doesn't have the long-term playability that those games possess.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because, like, Call of Duty, I could probably beat it in a week or two. I like a game where I can keep working on it for a long time, just so it gives me something to do. It's not just over quick and then...
Yeah, with Call of Duty Ghosts, I got to where I played the campaign, I think it was 3 times, and by the 3rd time, I could beat it in under a day. Like, easily, on Veteran, under a day. I could beat the campaign, and then I don't know, after that, I just somewhat lost interest in Call of Duty. In that Call of Duty, anyways. I mean, the new sort of mechanics they have for maneuvering around the map with the new exosuits, that does look interesting, but I'm not sure if that will increase and sustain long-term playability for that game. Without purchasing the game and actually playing it, I am not real sure on what to do. Alright, now we're going to move on to... Sorry. We are going to move on to a different topic. Sort of the one I was talking about earlier, console gaming versus PC gaming. First, I'm going to ask Diori, what is your opinion on that?
Well, I haven't really done very much first-person shooter games on the PC, but you were saying you were surprised by how smooth it was, and from my little experience, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, going off that, the controls, I've heard people who I can obviously tell are not experienced with PC gaming say that the controls are not as smooth and the controls are not as fast response time. That could be because of multiple reasons. I mean, partially it could be the controls in the game. If the game developers didn't spend a whole lot of time optimizing controls and that, or it also could be if you have really shitty equipment, it's not gonna do very well. Like if you have a half-broken controller where it forces you to look down even if you're not even touching it, then it's just not gonna be as smooth. Same goes for the PC.
Yeah, I agree.
Also with the PC, just kind of overall, not just as far as controls go, but PC I feel is my personal choice for the best place to play video games, just because PCs, if you're willing to put the time and effort into it, and also the money, they really do become a much more powerful and longer lasting system. As long as you keep the drivers updated and you buy decent grade hardware at the beginning, so you don't have to continuously upgrade every year, they really are worth their money.
Yeah, I totally agree. With a gaming console, it's gonna have the next generation's coming out in a year or two. PC, if you buy top quality stuff at the beginning, it's gonna last a couple of years.
Yeah, depending on unless there's like a big breakthrough in technology, such as unless there's a big breakthrough in technology like just advancements in graphics quality and file sizes and like, okay, SATA connectors versus the frickin' seatbelt connectors. If there's a big breakthrough like that, then yes, you will need to. But also,
yes.
PCs, one concept of PCs that some people are very negative towards is that they do cost more than consoles, but the hardware. Okay, take the PS4 for example. They've taken the PS4 apart and looked at all the hardware inside it to rebuild a PS4, buying the hardware and everything. It costs more than $400. It cost around I think it was around $750, which you could definitely buy a reasonable gaming computer for that amount. But the reason they sell it to you for $400 is because the developers, they definitely make their chunk of money from their games, but Sony does take a chunk. Sony does take their share because it is on their platform, as well as Microsoft for the Xbox does, and Nintendo for the Wii. Well, technically the Wii U, but they do make their money back that way. So people who argue, oh, consoles are cheaper, they're just as powerful, but they're cheaper. They're not as powerful. You can't do as many things on them. And if you're going to build it, it'll cost you the exact same amount. Eventually, you will pay the same amount.
Yeah, that's very true. Also, the way I look at it, if you're gonna be a intense gamer, I would just buy a really souped up computer where you can do your gaming and all your other computer needs on, and rather than have two separate devices, have it all into one, and you can therefore save money and time.
Yeah, exactly. Going off that, there's just so many more things you can do on a PC, like such as video editing, video recording, PC exclusive games, browse the internet on Google Chrome. I mean, I'm sure people have made patches to where you can get Google Chrome on, say, the Xbox One. I'm not 100% sure, so don't take my word for it, but I'm sure somebody's thought of that and tried that. But the original platform will 9 times out of 10 be the better place to utilize that utility. With PC, even if you... Okay, so if you're just going to go with 2 separate devices, say you get an Xbox One that's $500, and then you just go with like a really, really crappy, low-grade PC, that would... Just the tower would be around $200 to $300. That's already to the price of a mid-range gaming computer. So that's not even with any games. Also, I almost forgot to mention, games on the PC, depending on where you buy them from, and it also does vary on the game, but for the most part, games on the PC just has a much, much larger library available to you from multiple different sources, such as Steam. You can buy digital downloads off Amazon, GameStop, Best Buy. There's just such a much larger and much more affordable variety of games available to you on the PC compared to the console.
Yeah, going off that, also, if you have an internet connection, you can basically get any game, even if it was not made for the PC. I'm sure there's been like emulators of that put onto the PC, and also it would be much easier just to buy all your games in one place, and rather than you'd have to drive to the store or wherever.
Yeah, it is a lot more convenient having all your games in one place also, but one thing with that, going off the thing about the store, now they're getting to where they don't necessarily have to go buy a physical copy of the game. Now they have things such as the PlayStation Store or the Microsoft Store, but I still by far prefer God damn it, prefer Steam over the PlayStation Store. Steam may not have like movies and TV shows like the PlayStation Store does, but Steam does, however, have a insanely massive, I believe it's around 10,000 games on Steam. That's 10,000 games. increasing number every single day due to the Steam Community Greenlight program. The PC, in my opinion, I really feel it is just a far superior platform to play and utilize games on. But one thing, our next little side topic for the console versus PC gaming is when they come out with a console exclusive game, but then eventually they port it to PC. Sorry. I never really understand how they do like crappy job porting it to PC. They use PCs to develop the game because consoles just don't have the potential yet. I feel like it should be a superior version considering you're basically making the game on the platform that you developed it on. You should be able to port it even better than you would be able to console. Like I heard, I don't know this from personal experience, but I heard that Dead Rising 3, they did not a very good job porting it to the PC. And it just wasn't very good. However, there are also people who would argue the exact opposite of that. It really is a matter of opinion. Also, one thing in technology that is very, very rapidly and at an exponential rate is advancing is the mobile platform, such as for one, there's the Apple products, Samsung, PS Vita, Nintendo 3DS. What are some other things, Tyler?
There is the BlackBerry. Does that have an app store of sorts?
I think some of the phones do. I don't think the BlackBerry has that advanced of one.
Yeah, I'm not.
Just because they don't have. They do have a fair number, but they don't have near the number of smartphones as a company such as Samsung or Apple or Microsoft. They just don't have the mobile app platform that the other companies have available to them.
Same thing with Windows. I'm not sure about it now, but a couple months ago, the apps were very, very limited. You could only get major apps. I'm sure it's grown, but yeah, the same thing. It's just not too big right now.
Yeah, going off that, platforms that have had an app store available to them for a long time, such as the Google Play Store, the App Store for Apple, and just the mobile app store for Amazon. They've had that for a few years just because of their Kindle platform, but they have a very, very major advantage compared to those such as the Windows Store or the BlackBerry Store, where they haven't been around for as long. They just don't have as many of the apps that the others do. They just haven't had as much time to develop the system and make it, optimize it, and add content. It's just been, I don't know. Yeah, I'm no freaking tech guru, so don't take my word for it. Alright. That's kind of our segue to our next topic, which is iOS versus Android. This one, I'm going to start by saying I'm extremely, extremely biased towards Android. I'm a very, very big fan of Android, and I'm a very, very large hater of iOS. As far as Apple okay, no, you share your opinion.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my opinion is, I think Android has, let me start. Back in 2006, I think it was, when iOS first came out with the original iPhone, I think it was very, very advanced for the time. And I think Apple has kind of stuck, not really changed the OS as much as they should have, in my opinion. And I think Android has far surpassed their level on their iOS, their OS. Like, it's way more customizable. You can do more things. You can download files from the internet. You can just do so much more with Android.
Yeah. First, I'm going to talk about the actual operating systems themselves, and then I'm going to go into the companies that make them. iOS, back when it first came out, and pretty much up until the end of the iPhone 4, iOS really was... Well, no, even... Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Up until about the end of the iPhone 4, the iOS really was a relatively cutting-edge operating system. Android at that point was improving, bug fixing, just furthering themselves and advancing until they, after the iPhone 4, they reached and surpassed iOS with freedom and, as Tyler said, freedom and customability.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that was right, but
Customization.
Customization.
Yes, that's the
there
word.
we go.
That's the word.
Yeah. They've just by this point in time, Android, what is it, 4.4.2 KitKat?
Yeah,
I believe it is in my opinion by far superior to iOS 8. iOS 8, in my opinion, all they added was a fitness app. Then they added the music recognition, which is a clear rip-off from Amazon with the Fire Phone, with the Firefly technology. And iOS 7 added Siri, which Siri is... People go on about how Siri's great and Siri's all advanced, but Siri is no more advanced than VoiceMate on Android. VoiceMate just didn't come out as a... not really a flagship, but kind of a... Well, I guess Siri could kind of be considered a flagship software for iOS 7. It kind of was their big feature-packed thing, other than the making it... What didn't they... In iOS 7, didn't they make it a 64-bit system?
That was just in the iOS... No, the iPhone 5S, I think. Just the 64-bit architecture with the...
No. They didn't add the 64-bit architecture until the iPhone 6.
Really?
Oh.
They
did have... No. Here, yes. iPhone 6 had a 64-bit architecture, but the iPhone 5S had a 64-bit processor.
Yes.
That was designed by Samsung.
Oh.
And then Samsung got sued for inventing Apple's A7 processor. Yeah, Apple... Okay, now here's where I'm kind of starting to go into Apple as a company. Well, first I'm going to say the Apple products, such as the iPhones and that, hardware-wise, the iPhone 6 has nothing that special. The iPhone 5S, hardware-wise, it's a pretty solid phone as far as the hardware goes. The software completely ruins it, though. When they go in with the software, with the iOS, and limit your customization, limit your freedom to download files, roam, web pages. I've had multiple web pages that just are not compatible with iOS because iOS is just too different. Apple, rather than running on a some would claim less secure system, they choose to basically... Okay, here I'm gonna paint a picture. Okay, so say you're the user and you're standing next to a cliff. At the bottom of the cliff is an ocean, so you can go cliff diving and be just fine, be perfectly safe, and have a really good time. But iOS basically puts chains on your legs and ties them to a solid object that you can't move to prevent yourself from jumping over the cliff and potentially getting hurt. It's limiting the amount that it's by far limiting the amount of stuff you can do. but at the same time, it's kind of keeping you safe in a way.
Yeah, I totally agree. In my opinion, Apple's sort of unofficial motto is, if it's not made by Apple, then you're not putting it near our product. Because if there's no accessory that you, besides maybe headphones or chargers, that you can use, or anything that if it's not made by Apple, they won't let you, unless you like are in stream coding and you can get into the binary system and change the OS. Then it's just you're gonna be chained down, like Mason said, to just squares on your screen, basically.
You really are. Unless you jailbreak your device.
Yeah.
Unless you jailbreak it, you are just so limited. Also, Apple's little, as of recent, their little claim to fame is thinner equals better. That was very, very much proven wrong with the iPhone 6 Plus, as to where you can bend it so easily because it's so thin. Also, that was a very, very major design flaw. They used the wrong type of glass, so it's a semi-flexible glass. They also used a really, really thin aluminum rather than using some hard composite material that would still be just as light, yet much stronger, such as like maybe a carbon fiber. That would add to the expense, but carbon fiber where that wouldn't bend, and it would also protect your phone better than aluminum. They just decided to, rather than do that, they just made it out of aluminum, which clearly proves their thinner is better concept is wrong. What are your thoughts on that, Tyler?
I totally agree. Yeah, all these, well, I've seen tons of pictures on the internet making fun of Apple for bending, but they're not wrong. Like, we've seen plenty of videos and pictures of people this physically bending their phone right there. So yeah, it's just, yeah. I also think they're not as innovative as they think that they have the perfect device basically, and that they don't need to change it. I'll admit iOS 7 did bring many optimizations that Android has been using for years, such as the little, I'm not sure what the technical name is, but you swipe up from the bottom, it shows that little thing that you can toggle the Wi-Fi and
it's quick utility, I think.
Oh yeah.
I
like that.
really don't think that's the name, but that's what I'm using as the name.
Okay, yeah, the quick utility. Yeah, I'm not sure when, I'm no expert on any of this, but Android I know they've been using that for a while from their notification screen. Also, the iOS 5, I think, notification screen basically came from Android, so at least they're innovating from Android. I'll give them that. Or I'm
fine with them evolving up to Android's level and having some of the same features as Android, as long as they don't take those features that are the same as Android's and try to pass them off as their own, saying that they came up with it and that they're the innovators. Because honestly, almost I would dare say around 50% of the optimizations and key features that we take for granted in the iOS system, I would dare say 50% of those came from the Android operating system. Do not quote me on that. I am not at all sure on that. But, alright, now I'm going to get a little bit... This whole time I've been being as least biased as I possibly can. I'm going to go into talking about Apple as a company right now. Not their product, just them as a company. Honestly, as a company, Apple stopped functioning to a acceptable level after Steve Jobs died. Once he died, I feel Apple just completely fell apart, and they have not come out with like a single innovative feature that they haven't stolen from another company.
Yeah, I agree. I think after after Steve Jobs died, the quality control that he brought to the company just went down the toilet. And they just I don't think they can come up with any new ideas that are like original and new and without Steve Jobs there.
Yeah, I feel Steve Jobs was a very, very key player. I feel the last innovative product that Apple produced was the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S. Those were two pretty solid products for their time. Now, obviously, they are out of date and obsolete. But for their time, they were very, very cutting edge. For the time, what would you say, Ty? Was it the Galaxy S2 or was it the Galaxy S1 at that time?
I think the Galaxy S2 was the same generation as the iPhone 4. The Galaxy S2. It's either 4 or 4S. I know. I'm pretty sure no. But yeah.
The Galaxy S2 just definitely was not up to par with the iPhone 4 generation. But now I feel honestly the closest comparison to the Apple's most recent product to the generation of technology I feel that the generation of technology and the level of innovation that they have used in their product, I would compare it to a 2012 either HTC One or Nokia Lumina. From 2012, they're using a lot of technology from 2 years ago. It's got near the exact same specifications as the Nokia Lumina from 2012.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, they just I don't think they feel like they think they have the ultimate product in their hands, and I don't think they feel the need to innovate as much as maybe a Samsung or LG do. Because if you look where they were when the iPhone 4 or even earlier came out, and where they are now, you can see that they've excelled much further than Apple has. I think they just think that they have everything, and you can definitely tell it. I think they could make a much better product, but they just don't feel that need, I guess.
Yeah, going off that, I feel like definitely if you put the level of technology of the iPhone series, if you put them in a timeline, you'll definitely, and it's a line graph, you'll definitely see that line going up as the device increases. But then if you compare that line at about the iPhone, about a little ways after the iPhone 4, the line from Samsung will intersect that of Apple's innovation level. And then I would say it's around a 80-degree line after the Galaxy S2 to the Galaxy S3. I'd say it's around an 80-degree line, while Apple, I would say, it would be around a 45-degree line going to the iPhone 5S. Apple, compared to the other companies, is just not advancing at near the same speed.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like my dad, my father had an iPhone 3G, a second generation iPhone, and he went to the 4S, and that was a big change. But now he still has the 4S, but I have a mid-end Android, and I would much prefer my phone to his. And mine's a year or two old even, but it's just, yeah, they're not advancing nearly as much as, yeah.
Back in the earlier stages of Android, I feel like they were they were definitely I would definitely say Android was the inferior operating system back in the earlier stages of the Android system. Back in what was it? Android Cupcake, Android God, what are the names? Yeah, the earlier stages like Android 1.2 and 1.6 and 2.3 up until I don't know. The version before Jelly Bean was pretty good.
Yeah.
Then Jelly Bean was good. And I didn't have a whole lot of experience with either of those. I have had, on my new phone, I have had Android KitKat the entire time. However, I have used phones with Jelly Bean and the version before that. And they were both very solid operating systems. Compared to the... once you get really, really far dated back in the Android operating system, then they become much less user-friendly, much less customizable, just because the technology was not as good, and also much less... they were, well, not much less, much more buggy. Like, a lot more bugs in it and all that. But now I feel like Android, it took them a little while to get going, but now they're going really, really fast and really, really far.
Yeah. I have I think Android 4.1.4, I'm not even sure. KitKat, no, excuse me, Jelly Bean on my phone. No, oh my gosh, I don't even know. It's Jelly Bean though. And yeah, it is definitely more. Well, I will give Apple that they do have a solid, well, I guess a solid sort of an operating system. And by this, I mean, you're not going to catch a virus on an Apple product, but at the same time, you don't have the freedom as you would on an Android, and I would much rather take that risk. Just, it's like staying off the playground so you won't get hurt, and then you miss out on all the fun.
Yeah, going back to the chain to a solid object, not being able to go cliff diving.
Yeah.
There is the potential of you getting hurt, but okay, you can, say, use Android so you can go cliff jumping. But at that point, you can just use a helmet, which a helmet is just an analogy for a simple virus blocker that you can download for free and have it scan automatically so you don't have to do anything with it at all and still have the fun.
Yeah, and it will also tell you, like, it does, I have mine set up so it does scans, like, every 12 hours for viruses. It will just, a thing will pop up right there, and then you can just clean off your device, and it's so easy. At the same time, you're having the freedom and the fun of the Android experience.
Which Apple definitely has designed their operating system for their users. Their users, I would mostly compare to, I guess the best comparison would be hipsters, yes. Where they don't give a damn about science or anything that actually has any real importance in this world. They only really now I'm going on a little bit of a rant about hipsters, but all they really care about is their life and their social interaction with those within their life, which, I mean, those are important things, but those are aspects that Android has covered. But and just Apple's reputation precedes them. I don't even think I used that properly, but with Apple was just a friendlier operating system in up to like iOS 6. It was just even to now, it is a friendlier operating system, not by much now, but back then it was a much friendlier, much more user-friendly operating system, to the point that they built up a very, very large reputation and a very, very large fan base. That fan base still follows them to an extent. People who have used iPhones all their life say they don't want to switch to Android because it's too different. Multiple times I've gone in with my Android phone and shown them that it is not that different, and you can do pretty much all the same things, and it is actually easier to use. Once you get used to it, it is easier to use than Apple.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the same thing, like, back in, I don't know, iOS 6, I think, it was the last one. You had to, like, if you wanted to change the brightness because your battery was getting low, you'd have to go out of your app that you were currently in, or and then go over to the settings, find the thing. Whereas Android had been doing that before for a while, where you could just scroll down the notification thing and it could be right there. But they finally got that in iOS 7. Yeah, and yeah.
One thing that also does have somewhat of an impact with Android is Android does vary depending on the phone manufacturer, such as my LG, just the interface and the default apps and default settings available. It does vary from, say, a Samsung. I personally prefer Samsung over LG, just more user-friendly combined with higher technology and better quality control. Because my LG G2 I've had for around 6 months now, and it is already failing. I have had 0 hard drops. It's been in a case it's been in a good heavy-duty case the entire time I've owned it. And now there is a good portion on the screen that it does not sense touch. It will randomly start sliding, zooming in and out, exiting apps, turning my phone off. It just has a lot of issues for no apparent reason at all. I feel when you spend money on a phone, it should last you more than 6 months.
I completely agree, especially if it's a higher end smartphone made by that company. Like with the Samsung, I think was it the same generation, the S4?
Yes.
Yeah, for about the same price. I think that would last much longer than the G2 apparently, because even I have as I said before, a mid-range Android LG. It's an LG as well. It seems to do, although it has very little storage space on there, it seems like it's not as buggy as Daytrex Gaming's phone is. I don't know. Maybe it's just your phone, but I don't know. I've never heard like that anything about Samsung's, one of the top of the line phones from them doing that. So I would probably have to agree and say that I probably would say Samsung was superior.
Yeah, that is 100% my opinion. In my opinion, the number one cell phone on the market today, in my opinion, is the Galaxy S5. There are people who will argue to their grave that the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are superior due to the 64-bit architecture because they use 20 nanometer transistor processing. Also, people will argue that Apple, the iPhone 6, has 2 processors. I know for a fact it does not have 2 processors. It has a processor and what they call a coprocessor, which is not. It doesn't even process the same things as your normal processor on a cell phone does. It's a motion processor. It's basically for the camera and also for videoing, and it also works with the accelerometer and also the gyroscope. But other than that, it does not affect the performance of the phone unless you're using one of those things. It just does not affect it. And people will argue that that makes it far superior and far better. But as for the multiple things that we have covered, it really just does not.
Yeah, and honestly, I think I don't even think you would need a second processor like my phone personally. It lags sometimes. It's actually very, very good for the price that I paid for it.
How many gigabytes of RAM does your phone have?
I'm not exactly sure actually about the RAM.
You have the LG Optimus 9, right?
L9, yeah.
L9. I believe, I'm definitely not 100% sure, so don't take my word for it. I think it's 1 gig of RAM on that. With what is it? Is it a 1.9 gigahertz processor, or is it a 2 gigahertz processor?
I think it's a 2. I don't know. I'm not even sure, but
Something around that.
yeah, it's close.
It's not even the highest grade processor,
Yeah.
such as the Snapdragon processor with the 2.5 gigahertz clock time. That's not even clock time. What the hell am I talking about? But processing speed. That's the word I was looking for. With the 3 gigs of RAM that are available on the LG G3. It doesn't have all those, yet it's still really fast and performs really well.
Yeah.
For a mobile device, you're not, even with the top of the line devices, you're not going to need more than a 2.5 gigahertz processor unless you're trying to advance into the realm of a PC.
Yeah. And the only downside to my phone that I personally view, well, it could use more RAM and more processing power, but the biggest one is the amount of storage space on it. It has 4 gigs from factory, but over 2 is taken up by the Android operating system. So I'm left with just a little bit over 1 gig for the apps that I want, and I'm constantly having to clear data so I can download another app or delete some apps. Yeah, that's
Which, that, don't use that, definitely don't use that as a reflection upon Android itself. Android has a by far superior file management system as to where apps are smaller, apps run faster, and apps are less buggy compared to Apple. Also, on Android, most Android devices will allow you to put an SD card, which for the price of a good Android phone and a 256 gigabyte SD card, you could still be cheaper than an iPhone.
yeah. And I actually do have a 16 gigabyte SD card in my phone, but another big this is the second other downside, biggest, is that it will not let me transfer the apps to the SD card. And now, I don't want you guys to think that I'm just stupid. No. I looked it up on Google, and Google does not lie. I'm just kidding.
Google is the resource of everything.
Yes, it is.
Nothing can be a lie on Google.
No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, when I was getting the phone on the website, the review said that it could not put the apps on the SD card, and I was thinking, these are just stupid people who don't know how to do anything on anything. They just are old people that are stupid
and don't know how to open music.
Yeah, and then but yeah, sorry, I got off. But back to what Mason said, the file management is far superior. Like if I just wanted to clear all the data without deleting the app, you can do that easily. You just go into settings, apps, and then, or you can delete it, whereas Apple, it syncs with the cloud, and if you delete it and get it back, it logs you right back in. So yeah, I just find it much more convenient and easy.
Also, one thing, this one is kind of griping on Apple and Microsoft. They both try to, I don't know, I'm trying to find the right word for it, like kind of group all of their things under one account, like the iTunes account. Like, I mean, Android does do that to an extent on your apps.
Yeah, with
Google Plus, but that's only to an extent. When I had my iPod 5, every single game I went into, it was like, oh, do you want to sign into Game Center or whatever the hell it is? And it got really, really annoying because I wouldn't want to sign into Game Center on any of those because none of my friends used Game Center. So the purpose of Game Center for me was relatively purposeless. And it would ask me every single time I opened it with no way to disable it. And I found that really, really annoying. On this, you can easily disable the Google Play Store sign-in. You can very easily disable that.
Yeah, also with the Google Plus, you can sync it with your games and such. But also, one thing that I think that makes it far superior to Game Center or others is that it goes across multiple platforms, and like you can use it on the PC and your phone, and yeah, you can just I think it's much better than Game Center or other ones.
Yeah. I think we've kind of
milked
the cow on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Talking about different companies, such as major companies such as like Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and Samsung, and other Android producers. A company I'd like to talk a little bit about is Microsoft and their Windows platform. My computer that I am using right now is currently running Windows 8.1, which it's relatively user-friendly. It's just annoying to me. I don't have a... Wait, yes I do. I just barely made one. Microsoft account. It bugs me how, like, every single thing on there that they... Like, on all the default applications on your start menu, almost every single one of them requires you to sign in with your Microsoft account. If you don't have a Microsoft account, you can't... Like, you literally cannot use the freaking calendar.
Wow.
It bothers me a lot.
Now, see, I'm like the grandpa of the tech world. I have old Windows Vista on my computer, so until I get further funding, yeah, I'm just stuck with that. So I'm not. I'm personally pretty happy. Personally, pretty happy with my software right now. It's not too bad, but it doesn't have the, I don't know, the cool things such as Windows 7 or Windows 8. But I can live with it. It's pretty good. I can download most games, almost all actually.
Yeah, Windows. Talking about Windows. Recently there was an accidental release for a so-called Windows 9, which Microsoft has now come out and said there will not be a Windows 9. They are calling it something different. So there is no such thing as Windows 9, which I don't know what they're going to name it. They might go back and try to finish developing Windows Blue, which Windows Blue was something they were going to try to launch as I believe an operating system such as Windows XP, Vista, 7, 8, 8.1. But they never really finished it. They never launched it, like full scale launched it. They just never really finished it. And who knows, maybe they'll try to go back and optimize that and update it, get it up to date with modern technology. And they might go and do a variation of that. I'm not real sure on that, but with Windows 8.1, this is our closing topic, by the way. Within Windows 8.1, I feel it's nice to use. It is pretty user-friendly, but I really don't find myself using the start menu very often, nor the application manager, where you go into your start menu and then the little drop-down arrow. I never really use that often. Typically, I use my actual desktop, which is virtually the same as far as appearance goes. Virtually the same as it was in Windows 7. So, to me, it feels a lot like I'm using Windows 7 because I never really use the new integrated start menu and application manager. Oh, also, I'm very glad I went with a 1 terabyte hard drive. I've already used over 200 gigabytes. And I kind of just built this computer like probably around a month ago. I already used, I think I'm getting pretty close to 300 gigabytes used now, just with all the games and applications I have downloaded, all the software and video files, and I really don't have very much music. It's mostly video files that are taking up media content space. Any final thoughts on Windows, Tyler?
Actually, yes. To me, I personally feel like Windows 8 is a great operating system for like a mobile platform, like a tablet or a phone. But to me, the desktop, I much prefer the system of Windows 7. But I'm actually not too known about. I don't know much about Windows 8. I haven't used it much. But just from what I've seen, I think the Windows 7, just to me, is more user friendly. At least to me. But I think it's good for mobile platforms like tablets and phones.
Yeah, I feel the Windows 8 is very, very good for mobile platforms, and the start menu with the tiles and all that is good for mobile platforms. However, I feel like it just does not meet the sort of standard of ease of use that Windows 7 kind of set for Windows 8. And with that, I think we're going to call it the end of this Boyocast. Please give us suggestions in the comments for our next topic. We would love to hear you guys' suggestions.
Yes, please.
Because it was a pain in the ass to think of the topics for this one. Leave a like, show some love for the very first podcast in this series of podcasts. We are going to try to do this as a weekly thing. No promises.
Yeah.
Scheduling is a little difficult, considering we both are in school. It's a little challenging. Also, please share this video. Share it with your friends. Anyone you think would find it interesting. Thank you guys for watching and or listening.
Yeah, and if you could take a look over to my channel and maybe drop a subscribe or a couple likes, I'd appreciate it. I'll probably have some videos up by the time this is uploaded.
Yeah, like if you enjoyed. Definitely show some love for the first episode. Well, episode, podcast, thing. For the first thing.
Yes.
Definitely show some love. Subscribe for more. Thank you guys for watching / listening. I'm signing out. This is Daytrix Gaming.
This is the Ori.
Thank you for listening / watching.
Thank you.